Hello my dear students, today I am going to give some shortcuts in finding hybridization, geometry and type of complex in coordination compounds. You can also find the magnetic behavior, magnetic moment of coordination compounds. So this is a very important topic for boards, NEET and JEE examination because questions are frequently coming from coordination compounds in all competitive examinations. Okay, so let's talk about this particular strong field ligands, weak field ligands. So actually what are strong field ligands? We know in octahedral complexes many confusions are there. Some ligands act as strong ligands, some ligands act as weak ligands. Actually, what is the chief difference between strong field ligands and weak field ligands? Strong field ligands are those ligands which cause more crystal field splitting, large crystal field splitting. T2G and EG energy difference is larger in case of strong field ligands, and in case of weak field ligands, T2G and EG energy difference is small. Weak field ligands cause small crystal field splitting. So more splitting in case of strong field ligands, small splitting in case of weak field ligands. So this is the concept, but anyway after splitting we know EG is present at the top, dx square to y square and dz square. The orbitals which are present along the axis. The orbitals which are present 45 degrees from the axis are present in T2G set, that is lower energy. And how to identify? Generally some ligands like carbon monoxide, CN, NO2, EN, you know already these are charged, but no charge will be given in the complex. So when you are given this type of ligands, always they are strong field ligands. Generally they are strong field ligands, so they cause more crystal field splitting. And these are always weak field ligands. Halogens are always weak field ligands. What is a weak field ligand? They always cause small crystal field splitting. And water, only one exception is there with water, one and only exception. Water acts as strong field ligand. Strong field ligand with cobalt plus 3. Only with cobalt plus 3 water acts as a strong field ligand. In all other cases it is a weak field ligand. And ammonia sometimes strong, sometimes weak. This is very difficult to memorize, but not to memorize this, you have to understand the concept. Suppose two complexes given of same metal but different charges. Then you see where is the higher charge and lower charge. With higher charge, if central atom is in higher oxidation state or higher positive charge, then ammonia acts as strong field ligand. If central metal is in lower oxidation state, then ammonia acts as weak field ligand. The same concept you can understand easily by taking these two complexes. Cobalt ammonia complexes are two types, in which in first complex cobalt is in plus 2 oxidation state, in the second complex cobalt is in plus 3 oxidation state. So cobalt plus 3 here ammonia acts as weak field ligand, but in this complex same ammonia ligand acts as a strong field ligand. Okay, so that you have to understand. So these are strong field ligands, weak field ligands, and ammonia in higher charge. Strong field ligand, lower oxidation state, weak field ligand. These are best examples for that. Okay, water, weak field ligand. Only exception is this. So how to understand the concept? Actually, how to understand which type of hybridization is present in various complexes? Okay, I am going to teach that one. Very easy. It is in fact. From crystal field theory already we know that splitting of degenerate orbitals takes place under the influence of ligand. Whether ligand is strong or weak, splitting is compulsory, no doubt. Suppose we have any metal cation like D4 configuration, in which D4 configuration is there. So 4 electrons are there in D subshell. So I can fill electrons here 1, 2, 3. Now fourth electron has two choices. In first choice it may pair up with this in T2G. In second choice it may occupy EG set. but which is more preferable? That strictly depends on nature of the ligand and charge on the complex as well. Okay, just now I told you in ligands like ammonia, the charge on central metal also plays very important role. So generally in case of strong field ligands, splitting is more. So splitting is more means del naught is greater than P. P stands for pairing energy. P stands for pairing energy, because when fourth electron enters this, suppose, then it is pairing, so pairing occurs. Pairing also affords some energy. Or if fourth electron enters EG set, higher energy set, so that also affords some energy. So both, I mean the entry of fourth electron either in T2G set or EG set affords some energy, no doubt. Okay, but when strong field ligand is present, the splitting is large, so energy difference is large, so fourth electron has to afford more energy to enter EG set. So that's why under strong field ligands, fourth electron occupies this T2G, because pairing energy is less affordable. Entry of electron in EG set is more affordable. So it chooses less affordable way. So that's why fourth electron enters T2G set in case of strong field ligand. So this is absolutely correct. Fifth electron enters this if D5 configuration. Sixth electron enters this if D6 configuration, like that. So this is the concept. Del naught is greater than pairing energy. This is exclusively when strong field ligand is present. Strong field ligand is present. Suppose weak field ligand is present, then we know already weak field ligands cause small crystal field splitting. So del naught is less than pairing energy. In such cases, fourth electron enters EG set, because no doubt the entry of electron in EG set also affords some energy. This one affords some energy. In such cases, the electron entry in EG set affords less energy. So that's why in case of weak field ligands, suppose weak field ligand is present, then del naught, I mean crystal field stabilization energy, or CFSE simply, that is less than pairing energy. So in such cases, fourth electron enters EG set. Fifth electron also enters this. Now all are exactly half filled. T2G, EG are exactly half filled. Now sixth electron enters here like this. So if strong field ligand, the entry just I taught in previous case. If weak field ligand, then filling of T2G and EG set takes place in this particular manner. So this is the most easy way to understand this concept. But anyway, when you are given a complex, it is very mandatory to write the electronic configuration of central metal atom or ion, and later you check whatever it may be the ligand, strong or weak. Okay, because in some cases by looking at the complex you cannot strictly judge its geometry or hybridization. There are many complexes, although sometimes strong field ligand, still it forms outer orbital complexes, okay, like that. So it is mandatory to check by writing the electronic configuration. But for general knowledge I am giving these shortcuts. Suppose you are given a complex like this, Cr ammonia 6 times plus 3, chromium water 6 times plus 3. You see, generally what we think, Cr is in plus 3 state, ammonia X is a strong ligand. Generally our thinking is like that. So what is a weak ligand? Cr plus 3. Any metal cation, sir, you said only CO plus 3. What is a strong ligand? But you see, whatever it may be, the ligand present with Cr plus 3 complex. In Cr plus 3 complex, you know what is the configuration of Cr plus 3? Post argon 4s0 3d3. 4s0 3d3. First 3 orbitals you take as T2G, next 2 as Ag. So whatever it may be the type of ligand, you know in T2G we have to follow Hund's rule. Okay, T2G we have Hund's rule must be followed. So T2G I have followed Hund's rule, 1, 2, 3 electrons. So you take any ligand, always inner d orbitals participate in hybridization. So you know, if n-1 d orbitals participate in hybridization, those are called inner orbital complexes. Inner orbital complexes, also called low spin complexes, because of less number of unpaired electrons. If nd orbitals participate, these are called outer orbital complexes. Outer orbital complexes. N-1d means d orbitals from penultimate shell, that is inner shell, that's why inner orbital complexes. Nd stands for, N stands for valence shell, that is the outermost, that's why outer orbital complexes. In general, inner orbital complexes have less number of unpaired electrons, that's why those are called low spin complexes. Outer orbital complexes have more number of unpaired electrons, that's why they are called high spin complexes. Okay, so these are the general tricks to understand the concept. But anyway, if you are given some new type of ligand and nothing is mentioned, then some information should be given in the question paper, because in recent JEE main examination, in the question paper there is a question that is iron oxalate complex. It was oxalate complex was given like this, but many students don't know the nature of oxalate, whether it is strong or weak. In spectrochemical series it is mentioned in the NCERT textbook, but many students don't know. Even I have not written the nature of oxalate, but for to solve this question, for the convenience, in the question paper del naught is greater than P. This condition was mentioned. So this condition was mentioned means, it means when del naught is greater than P, it is clear that fourth electron enters in T2G set, because del G is large, so fourth electron has to enter T2G set. So that is a kind of hint. So such kind of information will be given. You don't need to panic about this particular question. Okay, so if you need any other question, I will solve, because you see sometimes like nickel tetracarbonyl complexes, carbon monoxide is a strong field ligand, very strong, we know very well, but nickel is in zero oxidation state. Nickel 0 is in zero oxidation state. So what should be its configuration? 4s2 3d8. So now in D already 8 electrons are there. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and 4s already 2 electrons are there. So carbon monoxide is a very strong ligand, so pairing takes place, no doubt. These 2 electrons come into inner D subshell and all electrons get paired up. Now 4s is totally vacant, 4d already vacant from initial state. So 1s and d, 1 2 3 4, because 4 ligands are there, we need 4 vacant orbitals. sp3 hybridization is there, because already you know sp3 tetrahedral, dsp2 square planar, d2 sp3 or sp3 d2. Anyway, coordination number 6 means that should be always octahedral, that is fixed. But only confusion is in predicting type of complex, whether inner orbital or outer orbital. That's strictly based on nature of the ligand. And sometimes when you are confused about ligand, see the oxidation state of metal. For already some ligands I have given. Okay, so those are very common ligands. So this is the actual concept. So this is sp3 means it should be tetrahedral. There is no unpaired electron. If any unpaired electron is present, that complex should be paramagnetic. No unpaired electron, diamagnetic. Unpaired electron means that complex is paramagnetic. If there is no unpaired electron, if all electrons are paired up, then that complex is a diamagnetic complex. Sometimes you will be given a question to calculate magnetic moment, that is strictly based on spin only formula. Magnetic moment is equal to under root n into n plus 2 Bohr magneton, where n is number of unpaired electrons. Number of unpaired electrons, single electrons. So if there is no unpaired electron, that is diamagnetic, magnetic moment is 0. So this is the information regarding type of complex, hybridization, geometry. If you know hybridization, geometry is very easy. Okay, so this is about hybridization, geometry, type of complex, and magnetic behavior. Very, very important concept for competitive and board examination. In tetrahedral complexes, no need to confuse, because in tetrahedral complexes, you know the splitting Eg comes at the bottom, T2G is present at the top, and the splitting energy, that is del T, is very, very small, 4/9 into del naught. So this value is very, very small in comparison to CFSE of octahedral complexes. O stands for octahedral and T stands for tetrahedral. Okay, don't write G. In tetrahedral complexes, we must not write G. Okay, G for geometry. So that should be written only for octahedral complexes. This is simply E and this is T2, and splitting is very, very small. So that's why there is no chance of inner orbital complexes. Third electron enters this, fourth this, fifth this, like this. Okay, so this is the information regarding finding hybridization, geometry, type of complex, magnetic behavior in octahedral complexes, because in octahedral complexes only this confusion is there. In 4 coordination number, that may be tetrahedral or square planar. sp3 means tetrahedral and dsp2 means square planar. The concept is same. Strong ligand means dsp2 square planar, weak ligand means sp3 and tetrahedral. But don't forget to write the configuration of the given central metal atom or ion. From this only you can understand which type of complex it may be. Okay, and there is